AI is totally cannibalizing on XR. Like I think with the XR, we are already, on the other hand, AI is on the top of the peak and there will be only way down. Like, but on the technology side, I think it's really cooperative environment. Right now, we are on edge of this Web 3.0, where there will be like this interface in form of XR, logic in form of AI, and backend or storage in form of blockchain.
Welcome to a new episode of XR and AI Spotlight, the show that gives a stage to the founders and makers pushing the boundaries of XR and AI. My name is Gabriele Romagnoli, I'm your host, and I'm here today with David Marak. David has been active in XR since the early days of Google Cardboard and the first prototype of augmented reality. 6 years ago, he co-founded the immersive studio Yord, which has since expanded worldwide and is now recognized as one of the top immersive app development companies globally. During this journey, Yord has survived and thrived through a lot of ups and downs, and he is now facing a new challenge and opportunity, the rise of AI. Today, we will look at Yord's client base and how AI has impacted their pipeline.
I think like we have three types of prospects or the possible clients. One, they are, okay, we need some hype. We need to fill the boxes in our corporate sheets that we are innovating. And these clients, for sure, we are fighting with AI. Then there are people who are like really interested in immersive technology because it makes sense for them. First 3 quarters of 2024, we have like of VR, AR, and the rest of it is other experience.
His thoughts on digital agency moving from client's work to product.
I think like every agency in the world was in some moment thinking, okay, let's do the product, let's sell it like one at the time. We don't need to reinvent the wheel all the time, but it mostly doesn't work.
We learn about the most exciting project David has worked on and why.
The most exciting projects for us are where we have the creative freedom and reasonable budgets, and that's like dream combination. And we even find out that we spent on these projects much more than it was needed. We are pushing it more even with fixed budget because we feel we can express ourselves. So we are doing like the testing with the really raw prototypes. It's really dangerous and it's not for every client, especially if there's like longer hierarchy and you are just explaining the context to somebody, he pass it without the full context, it can get ugly. It happened to us.
And how the team has adapted and reacted to the rise of interest in AI.
Maybe AI was the moment because like we were using the GPTs, we were using some text models, we were using some mid journeys and stuff. But in some moment, like I was like, it's not enough. Last quarter, we had 7 AI-based projects, just AI.
But before we get into it, I wanted to thank our sponsor Meshy, who made this episode possible. Meshy is a real powerhouse for generating 3D assets with AI. You can start with a simple text or image prompt and get high-quality stylized 3D models in just a minute. One feature I personally love is the ability to create stylized texture for any mesh, with or without UV. And since the release, Meshy's teams keep pushing amazing updates like texture in painting, ultra-realistic sculpture, and the ability to rig and animate your character. To try it out, go to meshy.ai and start the 7 days trial to access all these incredible features. And now it's time to roll the title and welcome David under the spotlight. It is a great pleasure to have you, David, here. Hi, David.
Hello. Thank you for our invitation.
There is a lot of talk nowadays of how XR and AI are complementing, but at the same time also competing for attention, for example. So I would like to start asking you that have been living through this transition, do you feel that somehow AI is cannibalizing part of the immersive tech business, and how are you at Yord navigating this landscape?
Okay, it's a tough question to start, but I would say there are two levels how we can look at it. One is the technology wise, how these technology can cooperate and how they create one vision, and the other one is more like popular and attention grabber, like what technology is right now grabbing all the newspaper headlines, and what are these hype cycles and these people investing right now or putting their attention. So in the second one, yeah, AI is totally cannibalizing on XR, like it getting so much attention on the level of the newspaper coverage or the like in general, and people see it like the big thing right now. But if you see this Gartner hype cycle, it's in we are just in different position. Like I think right now with the XR, we are already on the slow approach to getting really something useful. On the other hand, AI is on the top of the peak, and there will be only way down, I think. So this is kind of like the attention or the cannibalizing on the coverage. But on the technology side, I think it's really cooperative environment. And like I always say that the internet is evolving, and right now we are on edge of this web 3.0, where there will be like this interface in form of XR, logic in form of AI, and backend or storage in form of Web3 or blockchain. So we are like these three technologies which are in the late last 5-10 years are fighting for the attention. They are actually like something. They are part of one vision.
You made a very good point. Can you say that again? So you mentioned like XR in the form of the interface, AI as the logic, and blockchain as the.
Backbone, like the storage.
I think we should start thinking and describing about this. I'm gonna steal this this
Like,
definition
like,
there
I,
because
I
it's really good.
actually have the slide for this, like the evolution, and I'm using in most of my presentation, like the intranet, Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. Just like it was evolution, because like the internet, it was like the university based project, like where some people connected through their PCs, like the interface through some LAN network or Ethernet from one university to the other, and the logic was running through some programs. Then you have Web 1, which is the most first occurrence of the internet for the public, which was the interface was the browsers. Back then, Internet Explorer or Netscape or something like that. Logic was running on the website itself. Mostly the website was running, and the backend was the server. And then we are in the Web 2.0, or where we are right now, because like most of your traffic with the internet is right now happening through mobile devices, your mobile, your watches, your tablet. It's a mobile device. The logic moved more into the applications, like you have the Google, Google Maps, you have Facebook, you have Instagram, whatever. And the backend is cloud, but it's still servers, but you don't know where they are. And the next step is like, again, like the interface is going more into the 3D direction. We have more interactivity. We have different interfaces, like glasses, like tablets or something. And the logic is going with the AI, and the backend, it's I think like it's right now the slowest of these three new frontiers, because like it had its hype and it's still waiting on the reasonable usage. But it's kind of like I'm saying, like the blockchain solves the problem AI creates, because like with the AI, we have a really lot of data, we have a lot of images, we kind of losing the authenticity, and we are not sure what is true and what is fake. And I think this could be the chance for blockchain to came back to the light and say, okay, we are here, we are decentralized, and we are here to verify the content, verify the image from the camera. I can even imagine that we could like go even step to the hardware, and that every mobile camera will have the integrated signature, and whenever you take something with your phone, it will be signed and put into the blockchain, and then you can verify it and say this was shoot on this camera in this time, and it wasn't
And
AI.
And I think that we're going to touch some of these topics certainly during this conversation. And what I wanted to do though was really to understand how, not just how technology is there out there, but you from a perspective of someone running an agency now for several years is navigating this complexity. And I would like to understand a bit, how do you attract, talk, and educate clients? How do you deliver project, the value that they have across the spectrum that we are talking, like augmented reality, virtual reality, or now I imagine artificial intelligence. So maybe why don't we start with that initial
Okay.
part, right? So with your agency, with Yord, how do you actually attract prospects to start working together?
Yeah, like I think like we have three types of prospects or the possible clients. One, they are okay. We need some hype. We need to fill the boxes in our corporate sheets that we are innovating, and we need to spend some money on it. And these clients, for sure, we are fighting with the AI because on the one hand, like they don't care if it's XR immersive, if it's Web3 tokens, or if it's like AI. They just need something new to tick the boxes. Then there are people who are like really interested in immersive technology because it makes sense for them. And these we are like mainly, or like they have some idea, but I'm always telling that people don't know what they want till they see it. And that's actually why I'm like really investing a lot of my time to kind of like do this evangelic work, like to show people what is possible in immersive world. Because like even for me, like I'm learning all the time, and to see, okay, you can use VR glasses to learn something, or you can VR glasses to mimic something, or you can save money there and save money there. So like it's more about like educating about the use cases. That's one way, and telling them how they can use it, and they, okay, it fits in our needs, and they are reach out to us and they want to talk about it. And like on the other hand, like we are immersive studio, but to be honest, like last quarter we had 7 AI based projects, just AI. We had the visual AI because, how I said on the start, it's like intertwined fields. Like we are using AI right now, for example, for training. Like we do training of some sales representatives. We do it in VR, but we feed all the data about their movement, about their speech and everything to AI, and we get the results. And we kind of like leverage that. If you do it on the camera, you need to kind of like get these data from the image. Right now in the VR, we are the metrics. We are able to control everything, to measure everything, and then evaluate it with the AI.
So let's again take a step back, right? So someone comes and says, okay, I want to innovate, I want to find something that helps my company, my mission, my brand, right? How do you start that level of education and trying to direct them into something that adds value to them, whether it being an augmented reality app or maybe an immersive experience? So now, as you mentioned, AI. How do you help them? What's the path?
Yeah, I first need to understand their business. Like I usually like, that's kind of like beauty of our work, is that we work with really diverse type of businesses. So on one hand, I have a knowledge of how some rescue operation works, because we were doing for something for rescue, we were doing something for army, we were doing something for manufacturers, we were doing for something for translators. And you really need to understand their line of work, how they work, what's the problem, and then we are proposing the solution. We are not approaching like, okay, we have this box solution which will be fit for all of them. It's not like that. Like we really need to understand it. We need to understand their needs, their budgets, their willingness to experiment. And then we kind of like decide, okay, for you, like we actually doing for this, we are doing like workshops with the clients, because like it's like before, like sometimes client go, okay, can you price for me this? And I'm like, yeah, I would like to know what you want to achieve with that. I can price it for you, but I don't think it could be fit. We can find like 10 other things which could be better. So we do workshops like where we sit down with the client, analyze the problem, and then we propose, okay, here are the 3 solutions which make sense for you with the pricing, and you pick what is available with your budget or with your uh, innovativeness.
There is always a question that I had in this case, because of course the clients come with a request and you have this custom solution, and there is always a bit in my head like, is it better to build actually a product or build an agency that does services? Is that something that you've ever thought, like how do you approach this?
I think like every agency in the world which are doing some like project based things was in some moment thinking, okay, let's do the product, let's sell it like one at the time, and we don't need to reinvent the wheel all the time. But it mostly doesn't work. Like because like especially in the our field of work, because like the technology is evolving really fast, and I was speaking with the client like 1 year ago. Then they didn't have the budget. We paused, and they was like, "Yeah, can we continue the discussion?" I was like, "No, because the technology is obsolete. I can give you like what we discussed. It's not possible. It's already possible. We can do it. We can connect it with the AI. We can recognize the sky. We can do stuff like that." And it's really hard to say, okay, we will be doing this product. Like there are product based companies in the immersive space which are more focusing on the platform, not the content but the platform. They, for example, create something which can manage your device, or which can have the platform where you can create your own trainings or something like that. These are like uh different market, I think. But yeah, we were there. We spent a lot of money on creating internal products, and like only few of them paid off.
So since you mentioned indeed that part of showing the 3 options right after a workshop where you have understood the client's needs, overall what is the you feel is the trickiest, the toughest part of pitching a project?
I think for me the hardest is if I don't have the direct access to decision maker. A lot of
Mm.
these projects died out because I was presenting to somebody who was presenting to somebody. If like we to be honest, like I'm a person who can really excite people about the stuff. And if you are just presenting to somebody who will be presenting on the board, who will be presenting to the CEO, and in every step you kind of like lose this excitement or lose something in translation. These projects in general, we have like lower success. So like direct access to the client is for me, or decision maker is for me like key if we are pitching some project.
We're going to move into the more exciting stuff for sure. One thing that being also involved in this, one question that I always like to ask is, especially to that, let's say, ambassador, right? You have access to companies to do ambassador, want to then share that technology internally. And one question is, so besides you, who else takes part in the evaluation, right? And this is kind of like a question that I've been trying to ask, sometimes with mixed results, right? It's not always straightforward, but that still makes the person that is in front of you kind of like important, while still making them think that there are others behind him, of course, that are gonna contribute to the thing and at least open up a bit. But again, some people are just secretive; they just don't want to introduce their boss or who's the budget holder, and that's not gonna lead you any further.
I'm not sure what was the question. Right? You're like,
So the question. So no. Let's
oh,
imagine it was not a question specifically to
sorry,
you.
sorry,
It was
sorry,
a question
sorry.
that I ask when I am the part where I wanna pitch something to someone
Yeah.
and telling them, hey, it's okay. Beside you, who else is involved in that process?
Yeah, like we always ask, but we understand there are some hierarchy, or we repeat the presentation. Sometimes there are, okay, this was great. Can I take you to our board meeting? And you will tell them by yourself. Yeah, okay, whatever. Like it
That's
makes
what
sense
it is.
for both sides, and especially on the creative side, like because like our field is really, from the creative perspective, is really specific because it's limited. The creativity is limited by technical knowledge, because
Mhm.
like there are so many technical aspects to it, limitations, like requirements and everything. And I'm the technical person, but I consider myself like creative one. So, but we have the creative department, and I am trying to give them as much knowledge from the technical field as possible. Like we are
Yeah.
doing with every creative person, I am doing like intensive onboarding to kind of like explain them everything and it's never ending story. Like we are all the time evolving, trying to inspire yourself and like, oh yeah, this is possible. It wasn't possible last week. It's possible right now.
So if we look at a bit of a pie chart at Yord, what are the kind of like proportion of project for AR, VR, or maybe AI? How does it look like for project that came over the last year, for example?
Yeah, like I was actually seeing this graph like last week, because like we have the Q3 meeting with the management, and for the first 3 quarters of 2024, we have like 30% of VR, 40% of AR, and the rest of it is other experience. Like we are doing a lot of immersive stuff, like for museums. So, for example, interactive screens, some Kinects, some AI, a lot of AI right now. So we were actually doing first local commercial, totally by AI. We were doing some custom QR codes with the AI. We were doing some fun things, and we actually created like this conference AI booth where you take your photo and it transform you into the some specific style and print it for you. So it's kind of like having hands-on physically on the output. So yeah, like it was always, I think, like 2-3 years ago, it was like 60% AR, 40% VR. Right now we are like the ratio between two is almost the same. We are just getting the other technologies into the mix.
Right. So you still have, if I understand correctly, around 70% of immersive and a 30% purely immersive, let's say headset or AR or VR, and then a 30% on others being something that includes
Naked eye.
also AI.
I call it naked eye versus like phone or
I'm learning a lot of nice term. Naked eye. That's something also that I'm gonna steal, David. So, out of all these projects, let's say, can you share one that you're specifically proud of?
Yeah, there's a lot of projects. We were over the 5 6 years. It is 5.5, 6 years worked. There are some interesting under NDA and stuff, but I think like the most exciting projects for us are where we have the creative freedom and reasonable budgets, and that's like dream combination. Like if the clients kind of like give you the freedom to express yourself, they give you the headline, they cooperate with you on the ground vision, but overall they are say, okay, we trust you, you are the experts. And it sounds like little bit cocky or something, but it's so much freedom. It allows you to experiment, and we even find out that we spent on these projects much more than it was needed. Like, yeah, we already fulfill it, but we are pushing it more even with fixed budget, because like we feel we can express ourselves. And one of these was pretty interesting. It was even in pretty interesting region, because like we were creating something for Correct Telecom, which is the main operator in Iraq, mainly like in the upper region of Kurdistan. And it's innovative company, and they wanted to kind of like present on the high tech conference how their history and then the future. And we created kind of like this story-based game in virtual reality with the high-end headset, Vario headsets, and everything. And sorry,
And let's do this, because I think before you give us extra detail that we have a short clip, because that's the
yeah,
one. Yeah.
go,
So let's share this very briefly so that people can get a bit of a look, and then we can go and you can tell us
okay,
more about how you use the
okay,
Vario and the rest.
go for it.
So we have seen a lot, and I think that there was like a Vario, there were hand tracking only, there were these games that were taking place showing the brand and the story. Telecommunication was very present. So tell us more about it.
Yeah, like it was really interesting to work on it because like the team there was really excited about it, and we had like the company had a strong story because like they're starting smuggling the parts from Syrian border. That's the part of from the night with. Then they were hit by ISIS. Like most of their infrastructure was destroyed by ISIS, and their CEO was actually one of the main resistance against the ISIS organizer. So there's like story about this, and yeah, and they have big vision to country and to their telecommunication, and it was great to create it. And from the technical perspective, it was kind of like marvel because like we were starting. It was early days of Unreal 5, and Nanite and Lumen was not available for VR yet, but we made it. We made it with the Nanite and Lumen, and we spent a lot of time to kind of like work around and push it to the limit with the RTX 4090, and kind of like yeah. I'm super proud of the visuals and the project. It's really a nice project.
I wanted to have a quick break to remind you that if you like this conversation, you should check all past episodes at xraispotlight.com. Also, if you don't want to miss anything, remember to subscribe to the XR AI Spotlight newsletter, and you will immediately get an updated list with over 200 mixed reality apps you can filter from various fields, weekly in-depth interviews, and one product spotlight personally tested by me right in your mailbox every week. And now, let's get back to the show. There is one side where I think we're going to look at how can clients, for example, keep getting value from this, or what happens after a successful project has been delivered. But there is one question first being, so you mentioned the best projects are the one when you get the creative freedom and a good size budget, right? That's, I think, the dream for everybody. Do you have any advice for people on how to find those clients?
We are trying all the time. No, like I like every of our clients, but I understand sometimes they have like their own vision. So like the creative freedom, like I think like there's always some creative freedom to some degree, and like it really depends on the composition of the client's team. But yeah, like over the times we had like decent amount of these type of clients. We are right now building one big project also in the Middle East region, which is also really exciting. And we like the other thing is that we are getting there through the references, because for example, like right now we are building one big museum in Prague, and we got total freedom from the client side. Like they even before they started to do the reconstruction, they came to us and say, okay, plan the interactive stuff for us. And that's because we already did one museum with them. And these references are like, okay, last time we did it, they invited us in the late stage, so we couldn't change everything, but it was like all the time, oh yeah, if we thought about it 3 months earlier, we could change it. And right now they were like, yeah, we are here from the start, you have blank paper, we have some vision, let's do it, we have time. And these projects are just
Yeah.
super.
Because I think indeed, going back a bit to that product thing, right? The point is that to have a way to generate recurrent revenue, right? And keep going, keep doing what you love. So in this case, doing like using how do you make sure, let's say, to keep relationship with past clients that, for example, were engaged, were happy, to keep them coming back, or to show that this experience that you have delivered keeps delivering value in time, for example?
Yeah, like it depends on the type of the client, but like, I think the best way how to achieve this is to create the best productive or the best project, like fulfill their needs. But even so, like we, especially in the museum space and B2C space, we found out that even so, like totally fulfills the dream of the user, or the user client. It fulfills even our idea. We then find out, okay, it doesn't fulfill the user or visitor ideas because like they had the different ideas, or the demographic of the visitors is different. And it happens twice, I think, and we just redo it in some way. Like we find out, okay, like it doesn't make sense in this form to have their tablets, or doesn't make form sense to their this screen, so we will change it for something else. And and like we are always open, like if we like, that's actually like something what I do all the time. I'm trying to, like, when the clients comes with some strong vision, first of all I'm trying to break it down and kind of like say, find out where it could be, where it shouldn't work or wouldn't work, and where we should be afraid. And actually I'm also pushing a lot of the testing. We are doing dummy testing. We are I found out you don't need to have the perfect visuals to show it to somebody to check the logic. So we are doing like the testing with the really raw prototypes and everything. And yeah, but I'm far
No,
from the question.
I
That's
know,
why.
I know, but you touched on a very important thing that I still want to ask a follow-up questions, being that fact of showing low fidelity prototype to clients, right? Many people, designers, developers, studios, are always hesitant on doing that because I feel that sometimes what they mention as an argument is that, oh, but this is not how the final graphic it's going to be. It's not finished yet. How
Uh,
do you go? How could you convince them? Because I've been unsuccessful very often that show early and show often other than show something finished that doesn't align.
yeah, it's really dangerous, and it's not for every client. Especially how I said, like if there's like longer hierarchy and you are just explaining the context to somebody, he pass it without the full context, it can get ugly. It happened to us. Like one of
Mhm.
the clients was like, even like, okay, I want to stop project. This is not what what we imagined. I was like, no, it's just just want to confirm with you that logic is the same. Like ignore the boxes, ignore the textures. It will be totally different. We just want to verify this, and yeah, it's a kind of like, on the one hand dangerous, but if you give good heads up, or if you explain and give the context, like usually clients understand it. Or we are not doing it with the clients. Like for example, for one big project we are doing, like our internal testing, we invited like 20 people from the street and give them the application to test it, and then we just present the result like to the client, and not the testing itself.
So we are saying indeed that in the technology space, these things are changing so quickly, right? You mentioned that AI is coming, something that is not possible, then it's possible. How do you kind of like stay competitive, let's say, and how are there moments where you as Yord had to adjust and change direction in order to stay on top of the market?
I don't think like we had some moment like we would say, okay, we are falling behind. It's more like, I think like I'm investing a lot of time into be on Twitter, be on LinkedIn, be on the conferences, watch the keynotes and everything. Like that's kind of like my part, like the CTO, and I'm trying to push it back to the company. So like more it's about like not improving the field, but getting new fields. Like for example AI, maybe AI was the moment, because like we were using the GPTs, we were using some text models, we were using some mid journeys and stuff. But in some moment, like I was like, it's not enough. Like we need to hire somebody who can operate the stable diffusion, who can train or on model, and kind of like push it from the, I would say, master user of some SaaS products to create something of your own. And yeah, that was kind of like the breaking point. I was okay, and we started to invest into this department.
So maybe can you explain us, because some other people might be wondering how you approach that. So how did you get into? You made a very good comparison, knowing how to use Midjourney or Runway or whatever to someone that can actually build this type of experiences. So how did you build the department, and did that choice paid off?
Yeah, like it's still in the process. It's not finished, but we found the external freelancers, very experienced. We pay them a lot of money to do the demo for us, and we slowly start onboarding the internal team. We actually like have the really talented Unity guy who was just super into AI. So he jumped to it. He started to experiment, and he had this external guidance from the external freelancers who are totally into AI. And we started like that, like slowly iterating, alternating ready demos, trying, failing.
And so, was that a reason why not hiring the freelancer internally, or looking for someone to hire and instead upskill your own talent?
Uh, like it's not really like first of all we love to like grow our people. That's kind of like the thing. But at that moment it was more like we had like one or two projects. It wasn't like to hire person and be able to pay him full time to like he would be bench, or we would just like pay him for training. So we always like when we experiment with something, like we use external forces, or we try to get the know-how internally. Like I think like with the external guy we still work, and I think we take up like 80% of his time, so it's like almost like we hired him, but we are building it mainly internally.
One still question regarding AI. I was curious if you have successfully used AI in your internal processes to generate or to create part of this. And I'm talking about something that goes beyond ideation or writing copy. I mean, I'm really talking about the deeper, more complex, beyond just creating an image for a marketing campaign.
Yeah, like I think like especially like the biggest success to using something in the our daily work is our sales team, because like our sales team created the bot which is called Dwight from the office and they are using it for preparation material and analysis of the tenders and everything. And what is scary that we were running it for 2 months parallel, because like most of our project is that I get the description of the project and I do the estimation with the technical team, and then the sales team processes and work with the client. And we found out that they were asking GPT, who doesn't have any experience with the technology, but his estimations were like 10% off from ours. And it was scary for me. Like if you describe the project for him really good, he is able to get to you the estimation. And right now, like we are using it for like if clients was okay, can you give me some like idea? We are actually using it. We are using it for analyzing of the tenders. We are signing up for a lot of the European tenders or local tenders, and it's usually a lot of legal stuff to and like process and get what you need. And if you want to scale it, it's really hard for people to get the idea. So we are using the AI in these
You know,
processes.
I would have expected something completely different. Oh no, because we're using something to do animations or to do, for example, some 3D
Yeah,
modeling. And then you went completely the other way, like, oh yeah, for sales, because we need to get out tenders and that takes a lot of time. So that's the way we're using it. Yeah.
yeah, like for yeah, we are using it for texturing. We are using for upscaling of the textures. We are using for animation. Move AI. We are using a lot for motion capture. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but this is interesting one because everybody from the field does these things, but
Exactly. I love it. I love it.
for me it was actually like the department which has kind of like least technical background was able to manage something like this, so I'm proud of them.
Nice, nice, really good. One more. There was another thing, still about technology shifting and players coming, technologies joining the field. Vision Pro. Did you feel it made an impact, and if so, how much on the way clients perceive or interact with you, or what they request, or your capability to sell them projects?
Yeah, Vision Pro. Uh, I uh, I will start like 10 years ago or 9 years ago. I was writing my thesis on augmented reality, and the Vision or Apple glasses had their part there. So it's a long story with the Apple. Like it's this uh like uh in the group of developers and XR enthusiasts, it was always like, yeah, we are waiting, then Apple will came and disrupt the market. Yeah, it happened partially. Like the initial hype was like, yeah, we are from Europe, and we were not able to buy it here. So, but we ordered it to our colleague in New York, and we were like, okay, how we will get it here? It will can take a lot of time, and we already have the event for our clients to kind of like showcase it. So we sent one guy there for 24-hour flame in, in New York City, and he picked it up, and it was real success. Like I think like till this day we had like maybe 500 people in our office to try the Vision Pro. So really the I would say the attractive topic, and everybody want to see it. There's some disappointments for sure. First of all, it's a personal device. It's not something you can pass around. It's a personal productivity design. Uh, it has really limited amount of the application. I saw a lot of fellow developers were complaining that their application get only few downloads because nobody's there. Nobody's like their app store is kind of like dead end. So it's more about the demos and everything. It's beautiful from visual perspective, Apple Vision, like the quests or something are not cannot measure with that. But yeah, I'm still saying it's the first version. I first iPhone wasn't perfect also.
But so can we also say that that didn't make a big impact on Yord as a company?
It did because like actually like we are also using the marketing stuff, and like a lot of marketing, and we are getting a lot of inbounds. Okay, create for us VR application, create AR. And in that moment, it changed, and it was great for us Apple Vision Pro application. And for most of the people, it became like the synonym to immersive application, because they didn't want the Quest, they want the Apple Vision Pro application. So in some way, it changed, but I think like over this 9 months, it kind of like cooled down a little bit.
So when we look at the future of Yord, how do you see yourself, your team moving forward with this emerging department, so to say, of AI that is starting to gain capabilities, and while at the same time VR and AR still being representing 70% of the kind of project that you run?
Yeah, I hopefully like it will stay there. Like I don't expect like we would switching and rename ourselves or put there like we are AI company. Like I think it's still the tool, and I think it's something like you have the companies which are focusing on front end, we have companies which are focusing on back end, on the banking solutions and stuff like that. So there are like I think like it will kind of like divide this immersive space, and some companies will go with the visual stuff, some companies will go with the deep stuff. Like for me, it's kind of like on one hand I'm a little bit scared, because like if you saw this Doom demo where like some university students like train the AI to watch thousands of hours of Doom gameplay, and then we're able to create like generative engine, not rendering engine, but generative. Like you saw the first person action when you hit the left button, it rotated left. There was enemies and everything was running on the engine, and there was not a single triangle of 3D, because everything was like 2D rendered, stitched together to seamless. And I feel like this is kind of like crazy, and the vision of it, that every application will be generated on the fly for the person, personalized, and it will not even have the touch of developer. It will be just you put on your headset and you will say, okay, I want to be on the beach, and you will be on the beach, and you will say, I want to have there some games with the coconuts, and it will generate for some fun for you or something like that. And it will be unique experience, and nobody else will play that same game if you don't connect with him or something like that. And and
I am
and
not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, there is an element of curation, and like the more you start showing anything at people, it's. I think it's very complicated.
yeah, and but yeah, I think like it's going there, because like even right now, like you have startup like Exist AI and stuff, which are kind of like helping you build the games with it. And it's kind of like, okay, we'll prepare something, you will compile and play. And I think like it's the another evolution is that it will be not compiled, it will be on the fly generated. And then you can say, okay, here's like the AI which can generate cool shooting games or something like that. There could be, but I think it's still something like in between steps. It's like it will originally like, yeah.
And so, what's next? Because you still didn't answer my question. With that impending doom and loom, how are you going to adapt, react, or look at the next 2 to 5 years?
Yeah, I think we are ready for 2 to 3 years. Like I'm scared of 5 and more. But now like we are already using AI mainly for the creation, for the testing. And I think like we are also testing this generative approach. So it's hard, but you need to stay on the, how it's called, stay with the trends and experiment. Like we are all the time. Like, to be honest, like I'm getting so much signups for different services, different AIs tools and everything, and it always pops up on me email, or like you've been granted the access to this platform. Oh yeah, I did it 6 months ago, I signed up in some beta or something. And it's right now how it works. Like it was in the web3 era, it was like pushing drops and everything. Right now it's like testing tools and trying to navigate there and trying to stay relevant.
Thank you very much, David. I think people have had a lot to learn. It was a real pleasure to have a chat with you.
Hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening in. If you like the show, please leave a rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or a thumbs up on YouTube. It really means a lot to me, and it's a great support for the show. Till next time.